Okay, folks, welcome. It's nice to see some familiar faces. My name is Alexander Fromkin. People know me as my nickname, Sasha. I'm an agile coach and trainer from San Francisco Bay Area. And welcome to Agile Practitioner Online Special Interest Group. This is actually one of the first virtual user groups. We started back in 2017 when people were still meeting face to face. And at some point, I decided that I'm sick and tired of traffic in San Francisco and paying big bucks for parking. That's why, with the support of my mentor, Michael de la Maza, I started this group back in 2007 so that people agilists like us, could meet like-minded people from all over the world in the comfort of your own home or office. Later on, it became a commodity because of COVID, but at that time it was a unique experience. Our group just recently turned over 1,500 people, and we had great speakers all over this time. Our group is affiliated with Scrum Alliance, so that you could claim your Scrum educational unit for attending the group. Usually, we announce the next speaker, but our next session is widely open. We don't have a speaker yet. We have a couple of candidates. And today, I am really excited to host a dear friend for many years, Sherman Gomberg. And he has a really exciting topic: 7 proven AI-driven steps for achieving strategic innovation. With this said, I will stop sharing my screen and will pass the control to Sherman.
Awesome.
Please, welcome.
Thank you, Sasha. So good to see all your faces here. Some I know, some I don't. So glad to meet everybody here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And here's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about fueling enterprise agility. How do we get our enterprise to be agile? And we're going to do that with 7 steps, all AI driven. So we're going to use AI to help us on the journey, and you're going to go amazed what we can do in such a very short amount of time. Where before you might have looked at that and said, that took us months. So we're going to show you how you can do that in just an hour. In reality, you might want to take a couple days in your actual enterprise to make sure it's actually what you're thinking for. But I'll show you how you can actually do it in an hour. All right, a little bit about me to let you know. I have an IT background, computer science background is how I started. I used that to do a lot of programming development through the years. Eventually moved into project management and decades of consulting. So, 20 plus years of consulting across about every type of industry. Eventually fell in love with Agile and Scrum, as many of us have in some way, and started to get on my Agile and Scrum journey. Currently a certified Scrum trainer. I'm also a certified team coach. That's how I met Sasha when we started our coaching journey together. I'm also a trainer for training from the back of the room, and I'm an IC Agile accredited trainer. So those are kind of the organizations and the high level certs I have. I teach a lot of courses. I also love to do coaching and transformation on organization, hence our topic today. I'm the creator and founder of the Kadomi ecosystem, which is now Kadomi AI ecosystem. So we can talk a little bit about that. We're going to use it to help us on our journey here, how you can use AI and everything else to do amazing things. Human to machine interaction. All right, that's a little bit about me. Let's talk about the learning outcomes. What are you going to take away from this particular session? You're going to learn how to transform your organization using Kadomi. So we'll talk about how you actually can use that to make all the changes you needed. We're going to talk about how you can use AI to align from a vision all the way through the objectives and then to measure. We need to measure 2 things: measure our agility, but we also need to measure that we've actually delivered real value. So let's learn, let's get some fun. All right. We have a nice size group here. So if you guys have questions as you go, we can take a few questions here. So feel free to do that. If the questions are deeper, drop them in chat, and we can always address them at the end. That way, you gets off of your mind, so you can stay focused, and we can go through chat towards the end too, and we can do some experimentation as we need it. All right. So here's the steps we're going to look at. So 7 proven AI-driven steps. We're going to start with organizational agility. How do we know we have an organization that can actually be agile in order to make a difference for customers and users? So we set up the organizational agility. We make sure we have an actual vision statement. We've got to put a vision in there in order to deliver it. Once we have a vision, a product vision specifically, we can go ahead and we can look at OKRs, or objectives and key results. We want to make sure we have objectives. These are goal setting approaches. KRs, the key results, to say, what is it going to take to meet that goal, that objective? That'll align towards the vision. Once we get that in place, we'll talk about building a backlog. We have to build what's called a transformation backlog first. We have to make sure our organization can actually deliver against the vision using these objectives. So we start with that. Then we can get into the delivery. AI will help us all of these steps along the way. We'll use the delivery aspect to actually figure out what product we want to build the backlog in order to actually deliver and start to execute against solving a problem statement. Then we need to measure. We need to measure agility. Are we actually acting in an agile way, which aligns with the organization that we've shifted from, whatever our current state is, to the new state? And then we need to measure against those OKRs. Did we actually meet the objectives that we set, and see the key results? Let's start into step 1. What does organizational agility look like? And we'll keep going as we go. Step 1 is all about organization, and this is where you can use the Kudomi AI ecosystem to guide your organization. So we're talking about what is organizational agility, right? It's the ability to kind of anticipate change that needs to go on. How do we empower? How do we get people? How do we get the team set up? What actions, what tools do we have? Making sure we appreciate the Agile Manifesto, the values and principles that are all there. Needs to be obsessive pursuit in order to make a difference for the actual customer. Value delivery. Everything is all about value. Our world is constantly changing. Our 4th value, the Agile Manifesto, responding to change over following a plan. In today's world, I think there could be a little tweak to responding to change. I think the tweak should be seek the change instead of respond to change. Change happens so fast, we can't be in a reactionary mode. We have to go seek and find the change. So we need organizational agility to be in a position to seek the change, desire it, to have that obsessive pursuit. So as we look at Kudomi as an ecosystem, it's going to help you on your organization from the current state in order to seek that change, to be in a position where you're ahead of your competitors. You're always leapfrogging them. You're growing the market. You're understanding problems, and you're solving those problems. Do that through different programs, products, accelerators, gameplay, competencies, making sure you actually can work in that particular way. And you can get the organization to measure the effectiveness of the agility and value that we delivered. Some things our ecosystem brings. We bring in 3 specialty teams. The Kudomi name is derived from cats, dogs, and mice as 3 teams to help guide your organization. I do like animals. That's where it comes from. So we've got that going on. 3 teams to help there. Lots of accelerators, free programs like team development model, feature planning, agility, business delivery, setting up a coaching team. How do we set up a coaching team? All these are accelerators that are available within the ecosystem to guide the organization. Our 3 teams look like this. I know, fun pictures, hopefully like that. Cat team guides your organization on the journey. Dog team actually delivers the product, like a scrum team. I like the word disruptive, so I've got disruptive in there. We want teams that actually think and act disruptively, think in a different way. Our mice teams are specialty teams driving ideas, actions, research, design, right? Not actually building product, but helping to make sure we're ahead of whatever's going on in the world. So that's how our 3 teams come together to build the Kudomi name. Bunch of accelerator. Here's the samples of a few that you can have to get the organizational journey. Everything from measuring agility, agility metrics, building your features, get a feature planning program, Are your sprints healthy? Having retrospectives that actually make a difference and drive real change. Setting up a coaching program. How do I know how to have coaches that can actually work together and work with my teams? And so on. So there's a few others in there too. One of the real values and power, which we will be using as we go through our 7 steps, is having our own AI Agile coach. So we have a Kadomi AI Agile coach that Sasha was part of helping me build about a year ago. And we put that out. It's available in the ChatGPT marketplace, and it is embedded in our Kadomi AI product. Our Kadomi AI product has the coach and a lot more for a very good value and a very good price that is better than if you try to get it through regular GPT marketplace. So we'll experience that. You'll get to see how it'll drive our enterprise agility. All right, so that's a quick overview for step 1, making sure you're ready for that organizational agility. Brings us to step 2. Step 2 is we've got to build some type of vision. All right, so what is it that's going on in the world? So here's a definition of vision. Product vision needs to describe the purpose of your product. It needs to be open-ended. Right? Our vision should give us room to explore, to see what happens here, some future state. This is a definition that comes from Roman Pickler and very much helps and aligns with what we're trying to do. So how do we build a vision statement? We all might say, great, yeah, it's always good to have a vision statement. Great, thanks to Roman for having that. Here's 4 steps to help you build that vision statement. I used to do this without AI for a lot of my clients. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this with AI. Works really well without AI, but it takes a little time. It's a workshop process. With AI, you can cut that time down from like a half-day workshop to a 30-minute workshop. First thing you need to do, understand the problem. What's going on in the real world? What's the problem your customers, users are having? That's step 1. Once you understand the problem, you and your teammates, you need to have a silent word ideation. Silent is a key because we need to hear from all of our voices, all of our thoughts separately. You take those silent word ideations, right? And then after we do that, we hit the 3rd step. We group those words. There's going to be very similar themes and concepts and ideas. So we want to be able to group all those words together as the 3rd step. This is where we start to get collaborative. Put that together. And we have AI help us do that grouping, which is why we move faster. So I'm going to introduce one of our virtual coaches here. I'm going to call Red Rabbit. I've got a few virtual coaches. They all are actually the same coach, but just kind of fun to have kind of a different virtual persona. So Red Rabbit's going to help us with the vision statement here, grouping the words. From there, once we get Red Rabbit as our AI Agile coach to group the words, we're going to ask Red Rabbit to go ahead and create us a vision statement. The vision statement is built from understanding the problem, figuring out the silent words that will help us resolve that problem, grouping those words into themes, and then building us a vision statement. The reason this works is typically what I've seen in my career, in my consulting career. When people want to build a vision statement, they sit in a room all day long and they're trying to build the perfect sentence. They don't understand the problem. They haven't allowed independent thought. So they haven't gotten the words that actually solve the problem. So these 4 steps work really well. And they work better with AI because it'll help you get through some of the heavy lift so you don't have to spend that type of time. All right, here's what we're going to do. You guys are going to be participants. Here's the participation you're going to do. I have 4 real-world problems that exist that I brought up here as some representatives of what's going on in the world. Here's some 4 real-world problems. One of them, too many people living on the street. Right? Causes social and economic challenges. Another real-world problem, inconsistent energy. There are a lot of parts around this world where energy is just not stable and consistent. There's even parts of this world here in our country where we have energy challenges too. So that causes problems for different reasons here. All right, another one, too many fatalities on the road in automobile accidents. Here in America, 40,000 people a year die on our roads every year due to traffic fatalities. That is a very large number. Another real world problem, food deserts. We have food deserts in the middle of our cities. These are places where people, you think they should have good food because it's a big crowded city, right? They don't. There's no nutritious, healthy food within ability. They don't have the ability to get there due to transportation, socioeconomic. They don't have access to very good, nutritious food. That's called a food desert. All right, these are 4 real world problems. Here's what you're going to do. You guys get to choose. Which problem would you like us to solve as we work together? So go ahead and join menti.com. You can use the QR code. I think you can also use the code if you type it in. I didn't check if that got refreshed, but I know the QR code will work. So go ahead and click that and go ahead and vote. I see 2 of you are on there right now. Should show in real time. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes here to go ahead and choose. You do this by ranking them. When you get on the Menti, you can drag them up and down. So choose the 4 options and see which one you want first. And out of that, we'll start to get, once you rank all of them and click submit, it will go ahead and take all of that and decide which one we're going to work on. Good. So I've got 6 of you in there. 2 of you have submitted already. By the way, if you ever use this tool, it works pretty cool if you actually embed it in PowerPoint, which is what I did. I haven't always embedded in PowerPoint, but it's pretty cool here embedded in PowerPoint. You don't have to have that quirkiness of jumping over to a browser and you can see it happen in real time. So if you use Menti or something like that, see if you can embed it in your browser. Pretty cool. All right, 6 of you have submitted, 8 of you out of the 9. Give 1 more person. The last person a moment to finish their votes. All right, all 9 of you have voted. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. We are going to work on inconsistent energy availability, which poses a critical challenge. This one doesn't come up as a top one, so pretty cool for you guys. Usually I have the, usually I get the homelessness or the traffic fatalities, so pretty
Yeah, we
cool for
just don't
choosing.
believe there are too many homeless people live, especially in San Francisco where Sasha lives.
Yeah. Oh, so I love that you guys did the inconsistent energy. All right. All right. Problem I have in the real world, I have a very curious cat. That is not one of our real world problems, though. But she is definitely curious. All right. All right. So inconsistent energy. Awesome. Good job. All right. So here are some words. So I generated these words ahead of time for our talk. But if you do this with your team, I want you and your team to go ahead and say what words will come to mind for the problem we want to solve. So if we look at inconsistent energy, which is here, I'll zoom in for a moment here. So if we look at inconsistent energy, here are some of the words I thought for this particular problem. All right, cold, heat, technology, food, cooking, safety, security, jobs, gangs, politics, cooperation, solar, and so on. You can see some of these words that causes problems that we'd want to be able to solve with inconsistent energy. All right, good. So we've gone through a couple of the steps here. We went ahead, we figured out a problem. We went ahead and we did some silent word ideation. Like I said, in this case, I took a little shortcut because I did the words ahead of time. But even if you sit with your team, you can do silent word ideation in 5 to 10 minutes. Pretty quick. What words will help us overcome this particular problem or challenge? Now we bring in Red Rabbit. We've got the problem. We've got the ideated words. We're going to ask Red Rabbit to group these words into different themes and create a vision for us. So let's go ahead and bring in our Red Rabbit here. And to do this, we are going to use our Kudomi AI platform, and we're going to use the Agile Coach. It is built as a coach. It understands from a coaching perspective. It knows Agile. It knows Scrum. It's trained on ethical behavior from the International Coaching Federation, and it knows our Kudomi ecosystem. So this is built into our product. We're going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to log in here. And once you're logged into the platform, you have to be a paid user. Once you're a paid user, you get this coach for free. And I'm just going to make it full screen because this is what we're going to focus on. So we're going to use this Kudomi Agile Coach as part of our journey here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do some cutting and pasting here to do it. Here's the prompt I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey, Kudomi, there's a problem. I'm going to grab the problem statement and put it in there so you can kind of watch me do it. There's a problem. Let me go ahead and replace the template that I built here. Here's the problem. All right, so hey, Katomi, there's a problem. Inconsistent energy availability poses a critical challenge, hindering economic development in regions where reliable access to power is essential. I'm going to supply you with a list of words, group these words as synonym, then create a product vision statement to address this problem. Okay, here's all the words. I'm going to go ahead and put that also in. So I just pasted those words. Don't need the bullet. I'll get rid of it. There's the words. All right, so we're now going to ask our coach to go ahead, group these, and create a vision statement. Let's give it a go. Great. So it went ahead and did this. Said, I'm glad you reached out. Important challenge. Here's a grouping of the words, grouped into 4 different categories: energy and environment, basic needs and living, social and economic issues, challenges and context. So kept those in mind, and it's going to create a vision statement to help us address this problem. Empower communities by delivering reliable, sustainable energy solutions, leveraging innovative solar technology to ensure access to essential needs like heating, cooking, and safety. Our solution fosters economic development, promotes social equality, and supports education while addressing climate change and population growth challenges. We envision a future where energy accessibility eliminates stigma and exploitation, encouraging cooperation and creating secure jobs for thriving, resilient communities. How's it feel? Any thumbs up, thoughts, nodding heads? If you're not on camera, you're always welcome to use the responses built into Zoom. So to do that here. All right. So that's where we're going to start. We got a vision statement. Typically, like I said, I would see, organizations sometimes take months just to get here. And when I do these 4 steps in person, often that would be a multiple hours workshop. Now when we bring AI to do this, this is something you can do in like a half an hour, right? Have the conversation, get people to do it. All right, good job. Let's move to step 3. Step 3, we are going to focus with using objectives and key results to help us guide us on the journey. So we're going from organizational agility. We got an organization that is ready, putting in that CAT, the coaching, assessment, and transformation team to guide us, getting some dog teams, getting agility trained and organized, coaching set up, all we need. Now we built a vision statement to address a real world problem. That's the number of thing, or some customer user problem. From there, what objectives and key results are we going to do? If you're not familiar with objectives and key results, or you haven't used them in a while, let's just give everybody a little bit of overview of what they are. Thank you to Andrew Grove, who is one of the authors of Objectives and Key Results. Objectives and key results. Objective, something that is qualitative, aspirational, action-oriented, a goal. It's important you think of an objective as a goal. It needs to be significant, concrete, and inspirational. Focus on what you want to achieve. That's your objective you're looking for. Then you set up some key results to support it. Key results are measurable outcomes. Notice it says outcomes. Outcomes are really important. We're not just looking for outputs. Outputs is something different. We need an outcome that makes it different. Measurable outcome to track how we will reach the objective. Grove emphasized they need to be quantifiable, so there's no room for ambiguity. Did you do it or did you not? So that's really important there. So that's a definition of objectives and key results. To make that happen, we're going to go ahead and bring in one of our other fun little coaches here. We're going to bring in Pink Penguin here, and Pink Penguin is going to help us create from our vision statement. We're going to use SMART as an acronym. SMART is a really good acronym for goal setting. Stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So we're going to take the vision statement we just created. We're going to bring in SMART as a really good acronym, ask it to build us some OKRs to make that happen. All right, we're going to continue our conversation here. We've got a conversation we are now having with our Kadomi AI coach. Here's our new prompt. Kadomi, create 2 OKRs using the SMART acronym. It's going to go ahead and build us some OKRs. It knows the vision statement. It knows the problem we're trying to solve. It's going to keep that going. Awesome. we have two OKRs that we can focus on. So let's create it based on our product vision statement we crafted, ensuring they meet the SMART criteria. Here's objective 1, increase access to reliable solar energy solutions. Okay, objective, expand access to affordable, reliable solar energy in underserved communities to improve heating, cooking, and safety within 12 months. So pretty good objective. It's got a time bound in there. I can feel the specific. I can feel something I can measure. Achievable, relevant, important there. So it feels like it matches to SMART. And here's key results. How do we know we got there? It needs to be measurable, remember, outcome oriented. Deploy solar energy systems to 3 underserved communities within 9 months. Achieve a 90% user satisfaction and energy reliability surveys by the end of month 12. Reduce energy outages in pilot communities by 75% within 12 months. So that's one of our OKRs. Then we have a second one here. Foster economic development and social equality through energy access. Enhance economic opportunities and social equality by creating energy-related jobs, educational programs in targeted regions within that 12-month time period. And key results, measurable, outcome-oriented. Create 50 new jobs related to solar energy installation and maintenance. Launch 3 educational workshops on sustainable energy. Increase participation of underrepresented groups in energy programs by 40%. Okay. All right, still feeling pretty good? Thumbs up, working for you? All right. OKRs are really hard to build, really powerful, but they're usually very hard to build. Human to machine interaction, AI can help you. We have a coach that is trained, understands agility. Let it help you on this journey. All right, we got a question. Let's take it. Dr. Suman, what's on your mind? Remember to come off mute.
Sorry, I was okay. My question is that like you shared already the vision and then OKR, and if I'm taking the same vision and putting into the chat GPT, it will also give me the same results. Like I'm not able to understand the purpose, what you are want to share here. Like what your objective to share this information.
And trying to see if I get your clarity of your question. Our objective here is to be able to go from a real world problem to set up your organization so you can actually solve that problem. And we're using AI to help us on that journey. In this case, we built an Agile coach as an AI GPT. So we're using the AI coach. You can use any open GPT, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Copilot, you can use Gemini, right? But we're using a trained Agile coach so it understands agility to make sure your organization can meet more success than just a standard. So if that's kind of what you're getting at, by having a GPT that is trained, you'll get a little bit higher level interaction than if you just use an open-ended GPT. So,
Okay.
but the problem is the same. We're going from a real world problem to be able to deliver something to solve that problem and measure it. Does that help?
Yeah, I think if I'm understanding correctly, your purpose is to help us how the workflow it is working step by step using this your specific agile
Yeah.
coach which you are using. But the similar kind of a result we can also get it from the Chat GPT or Claude or Copilot.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Means you are
Just
helping to
doing it
us
right.
how to write the better prompt and using a real world problem.
Yeah. Writing good prompts is really important. Writing a prompt with a trained Agile coach is better because you don't have to worry about teaching your AI what you want it to do. When your AI is already taught, it's like bringing in a new employee. Your AI should be like another member of your team. In this case, I'm bringing an AI as a member of my team that is already trained on agility and understands how organizational dynamics work and knows how to create the individual's interactions and work with teams and people. And it has a lot of skills here. It understands problems and vision statements and OKRs. So it has some of this knowledge, as a really kind of like high-level coach and consultant to guide you. Yes, you can use your GPT, but you're going to have to train it and give it that information in order to make sure you get that going. So you can absolutely do that. All right, great. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so good job. We got some OKRs. That'll bring us to step 4. Step 4 is building a transformation backlog. All right, we have a problem statement out in the real world. We went through the 4 steps to build a vision statement against that. We built some OKRs that we need to do. Now we have to say, well, how do we truly get our organization ready to deliver it? We know we got to solve and deliver against these OKRs. So once you have OKRs in place, you now know what are the key results I need to meet in order to meet the objective, which aligns with our vision and solves the problem. So I have to have organizational readiness. So let's build a transformation backlog. So what is a transformation backlog? Well, in our Kadomi ecosystem, right, transformation backlog is basically getting initiatives, work items designed, to achieve those OKRs. How do I get my organization to be ready? Right? So that is really important there. So we're going to have to look at how we make that culture shift. Typically our organization is not always in this type of state. They're in some type of state where they've been effective, but they want to now make that shift. So making that shift means a culture shift. Tools we might need to support the individual's interactions. How are we going to measure our effectiveness for value delivery and organizational effectiveness? Look at both. Team structures, leadership changes, all of that. So we need to evolve that. We need that to constantly go. And we need to never lose sight of the problem statement, which is where these OKRs become kind of the glue that holds it together. Going from problem statement to organizational agility, making sure we're delivering against a set of OKRs. So create that transparency as we're going. Think of what Agile and Scrum have with empiricism, the 3 empirical Scrum pillars. With transparency, leads towards inspection, leads towards adaptation. This is what we're doing here in our organization to solve our problem. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in another one of our fun little coaches here. We're going to bring in Yellow Yak. Yellow Yak is going to help us go from these OKRs using our Kadomi ecosystem here to go ahead and build us a transformation backlog. Let's continue our conversation here with our coach. And here's the prompt we're going to do now to continue it going, and just say, Kadomi, create a transformation backlog for organizational readiness. So it's as simple as that. All right. Again, having a trained Agile coach, understanding Kadomi, understanding what it takes to guide an organization on their journey, and now it understands the problem and the OKRs. It's bringing that all together for you. And it went ahead and here's some things you're going to have to do to build your transformation backlog. Right, you've got to get leadership and strategy alignment to do that. Now, in this particular case, it's calling me an enterprise admin because I'm logged into Kadomi AI as an enterprise admin, so it knows who I am. So it gave me that a little bit. But as the enterprise admin, I want to align leadership on vision and goals of the Energy Access Initiative. So if you see it's important here, it's actually saying make sure it understands the problem we're solving. I need leaders that understand the problem. That's one thing. Right. Another thing, capability building and training. It came from another group, human resources. Want to design and deliver training programs on solar energy and community engagement. These are really critical. I can't just go tell my team to go build it because we might not have the skills yet. We want to solve this problem. Maybe we're some type of think tank or we're an endowment company and we're just funded by grants. We don't know what we're going to do, but we want to solve this problem. We've got to get organizational ready. So there's some stuff there. Process and governance. It did it from an Agile coach perspective. Establish Agile events, ceremonies, and feedback loops. All right. Get governance in place. Make sure we can make decisions. Important. Right. Be innovative. Technology and infrastructure. Organizational readiness has to have an IT team that can actually solve some of these problems. What tools do we need? Remote monitoring and maintenance of solar installations. If we're going to solve this problem, I need people who know and have those skills. And culture. We have to make sure we have culture and engagement across our organization to avoid resistance and problems and blocks. So these are all things about organizational readiness. So Yellow Yak, or our Kadomi Agile coach, helped us go from problem statement to vision statement to OKRs to building a backlog that gets us on organizational readiness. That takes us to delivery. So we've spent like 30 minutes here, and we're already at a point where we can say, we're good. We know what we need to do. Let's go build it. All right? We're kind of ready. Let's go put this in motion here. So let's talk about how do we deliver? How do we actually build solutions, build the product to solve this problem? All right. So if we want to deliver something meaningful, all about value. It's about value to the customers, the users, the people receiving the benefit. So we have to align what's valuable to the business along with what's aligning, what's valuable to the people we're trying to solve with, matching the vision statement. This becomes organizational readiness. So getting that alignment there so we can deliver a product. We're going to talk about features to help us with that. I'm personally a fan of features because features give us kind of a chunk of functionality that is valuable to users and people receiving the benefit. So features bring that bridge between the strategic intent, right? And they help us get something done. So features are customer centric. I always like that. They always come from the users, customers, the people receiving it. We need that. Features also help us align with stakeholders, get them involved, make sure we get good communications plan going there. Features help build an actual piece of functionality as the product learns and evolves, so we can bring in feedback and deliver quickly. Ultimately, our features help us go from vision into action. That's what we're looking to do. So let's go ahead and build ourselves a feature roadmap. We know our problem statement. We built a vision. Awesome. We've got that. We have objectives and key results that we know we need to do within 12 months. The time bound. We've now put what we need to do in our organization to get them to shift so they can actually be ready to deliver. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to say, well, what features do we need to build that will actually solve the problem? So let's bring in Purple Panda here, and Purple Panda will help us. Here's what we want to ask to continue our conversation. Hey, Kadomi, create a feature roadmap with the traceability. I put traceability as a keyword because I want to make sure we're actually solving the objective and key result to each OKR. Use a user story format. I kind of like user story format, so it's written from the customer user's perspective, right? And we can actually get acceptance criteria so we know we delivered it. And I want each feature to definitely be a vertical slice of value. It must be valuable for the people you're solving the problem for. And I said, give me a roadmap style so I can actually see it over some timeline. So that's my prompt to help us get going. I'm building a feature roadmap. Let's see how that comes out as we ask Kadomi to continue our conversation here. Awesome. All right, here's what we got. I actually kind of like the way it looks. All right, absolutely. Below is a feature roadmap aligned with the 2 OKRs we created. All right. Each feature is expressed as a user story, giving you some vertical slice of value, and it's traceable back to the OKR. So we know we're actually solving the problem by putting this in place. You can see our timeline here, Q1 through Q4. We said we want to solve these in 12 months. It recognized that. It wrote our features using user story format. And you can see it says, as a community member, our very first one. So it's doing it from the perspective of the users, the people receiving benefits, the people that will help us solve the problem. All right, so as a community member, I want to receive a reliable solar energy installation so there's consistent power for heating and cooking. That aligns to OKR 1. Another one, as a product manager, so you're coming from the product manager, product owner perspective, you want to implement a remote monitoring dashboard for solar systems. Why? So we can quickly detect and resolve energy outages. Make sure we actually solve the problem. You have a training coordinator in there. You've got to develop and deliver workshops on solar technology and maintenance. Local technicians can support it. What else? Another community leader. Facilitate programs to create local jobs. That meets OKR number 2. You can see some of that. And on and on. So you now have a roadmap to give you that progression as we go through and make sure we can deliver it, and gave you the timeline. Okay. Thoughts, questions so far? Feeling pretty good as we're going from real world prompt to actually solving this? Okay. Now all we need is funding. We need money, but that's a different question. You always need money. Hopefully we got a good grant by somebody who has billions of dollars and they'd like to actually solve real problems. Yeah, go ahead, question.
Yeah, I think this is still theoretical. Means it's like we are writing something, we are getting some text. This is totally. I'm a senior technical program manager. I do understand what you going through from A to B, but this is still a theoretical until unless it is not implemented in a real sense by the real people. It's just a theory.
Okay. All right. So here's your theory here. So part of your job, which is why you have human to machine interaction, This guides you on your journey. It's not going to go out and hire and fire people for you. It's not going to do the training, but it's telling you what do you need to do in order to solve this problem. So you're going to have to look at this roadmap and say, I've got to go hire people. I've got to create this training program. I've got to get HR to do these things. It is your guide, just like
Yes,
anything. So
I agree with
you
you.
have to do it.
AI
You have to
is,
implement it. Absolutely. Yep. You're
yeah,
spot on.
I
Mhm.
agree with you. Means these days, like it's a paradigm shift into the project management leadership. And now AI is our like a co-pilot, co-worker, and agentic AI is more kind of a like supporting staff for us.
Mhm. Yeah, like I said, they should be a team member. You want to bring it along your journey, right? But it gives you insights and ideas you might not have been able to do alone or takes you a very long time to do. Solving real problems quicker, faster, with different insights. So that's where we're going. Very good. Any other thoughts or questions? Appreciate that.
I have a question.
Thank you, Steve. What's on your mind?
Okay, so this is a tool that we would use not necessarily while sitting with a client or a customer, right? This is something that we would do that we would just use as our guide to work with them. It's not anything that we would, I mean, that we would hide from them or anything, but it's just not something that we would necessarily just sit with them with. Is that correct?
It's a good question. My recommendation, this is kind of a recommendation, is you actually should do it as a member in the room, right? So if you're sitting down, you got a couple folks with you from your organization, maybe you're sitting with if we're talking about energy, maybe you're sitting with some community leaders in some city that's having energy challenges here, and you're trying to solve this. Have AI as a member in the room. It provides insight as conversations. Ask the people, ask AI, refine it. Right now we're going through, a structured approach, but that structure is going to be based on new learning and feedback you get with those in the room. If you do it with them in the room, you'll get something even better. You can't just use AI, you can't just use humans, bring them together, human to machine interaction. That's when you get real powerful. So Steve, yeah, bring it in the room. Have it
Okay,
with you. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Love that. All right, let's get to step 6. We just got 2 steps left on our journey. Now we get to a point, we've got a backlog, we've got a roadmap we can use. We have a roadmap that aligns with getting our organization to make a culture shift, to be ready to deliver, that goes ahead and supports the objectives and key results we're doing, fulfills a vision that solves a real world problem. Let's measure it. We need to measure the agility. Are we actually acting in an agile way? The right mindset, the right culture, teams that actually make a difference. They are a little disruptive, right? We do want that to go on. They are open. They follow the Scrum values of focus, openness, respect, commitment, and courage. We need to bring all that in place. They follow that agile mindset and they have the agile values and principles. So we need to measure that to make sure we really do solve the problem and we're not just trying to be busy and wasting that billionaire's money and not actually making a difference in the world. So measure your agility. So let's take a look at that. Measuring agility, right? It's all about making sure the teams can self-evaluate, right? A really good team is one that is self-managing. A really good team is something that is self dot dot dot, right? So self-managing, self-evaluate, self-governing, right? Self-adjusting, self-anything. You want to have great teams, they need to be about themselves, not to be managed, but to be self-managed. So they should self-evaluate. How are we doing? And then they can put that new learning in place to continually improve. Teams do this, organization needs to do that. Look at their current behaviors and measure it. Question, since agile teams are self-managing, how do they measure and improve? All right, so we're going to continue our journey with AI here in our 6th step here. We're going to bring in agility metrics and we're going to bring in our AI coaching assistant, as you've seen here, our Kadomi AI coach, to help us get on the journey to create high-performing teams. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at another part of the tool to see how we measure that. I'm just going to give you a little bit of show here. So we're going to close our coach for a moment here, and we're going to go to actually measuring agility. To measure agility, we're just going to look at a whole sprint. We're going to bring up a sprint rubric here. I'm going to go ahead and reset it. But if we want to know how well we're doing, we've got to actually measure agility. So if we got teams that are working with Agile and working with Scrum, they need to evaluate their sprint performance, make sure they're actually focusing on delivering problems. So they follow what's called a rubric approach to self-measure. The team sits down and says, how are we doing? They follow these different themes and self-measures. Team composition. Are we underperforming? Do we always need help from somebody outside of the team? Agree or disagree? They answer the question. Right? No, we don't. They can say disagree. That gives them 2 stars and unlocks improving. Is the team cross-functional? Do they promote what's called T-shaped skills? They can agree or disagree. They self-measure. Then they can answer high performing. Do they serve as a liaison to other teams? We'll say, no, we're not really working with other teams. They can stop here. They've got 3 stars. Then they move on to how well do they collaborate. I'm going to fill this out a little bit as we go through because I want to show you how you can get more insights towards improvement, measurement, but also improvement here. Collaboration, right? Do the teams put self above others? We'll say no, disagree. Does a team shift from individual to achieve a sprint goal? Yeah, we're working pretty well there. Do they work together to elevate and support each other based on team members' desires, whether personal or professional? I don't think we're quite there, so they can say disagree. Values, how well do they follow the Scrum values? Do they do the Scrum events? Are they performed? Yeah, we're following the framework pretty well. Are we improving? Do we trust and have confidence the team can follow that framework pretty well? Right. Let's say we agree they're doing that. And let's say they inspect and adapt. They maintain that high state, so they're actually acting empirically. So we'll give them high performing on that. How healthy are their sprints? Are team members aware of their progress? Agree or disagree? Say they are. Are team members monitoring their progress and health? Well, maybe they're not really watching it, so let's say they disagree here. So we're not really watching our progress. We got 2 stars on sprint health. Performance. Team members live up to those Scrum values. Do they use commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage? Right? Team members fail to live up to it. We disagree. They don't fail. They actually do put them in. Do they consistently live up to those? Right? Are they not falling apart? Are they listening? It's like, yeah, we follow those. We talk about them all the time. So we agree. Is this team a reference model for other teams by following those Scrum values? Well, no, I don't think we're strong enough, and people don't look at us to get ideas and insights, so maybe we'll stay here. All right. So you get a nice radar graph, shows you your strengths and weaknesses. You can follow the words to improve, and you can bring in your coach to get insights. This coach is built in. It will use the team's personal assessment here. It will generate insights based on their self-measurement, give you ideas to improve. Measuring agility so we can actually make a difference in our organization. It went ahead and threw that to the Agile coach, generated it. You can view it in your inbox. Here's what was generated based on the team's self-assessment. You can see their strengths. It gives you a recommendation, what you should do to improve. I'm not going to read it all, but it generated it for you. It gives you some ideas where you should go. Help your teams, help your organization, make sure you're actually solving the problem. From there, if you're a fan of actually doing team improvement, your AI can lift you up even one more, generate an improvement, a Kaizen, Kai and Zen, 2 Japanese characters, right? It will actually create that improvement for you and put it in a format that you can go ahead and bring it right into your next sprint, which is what our Scrum guide helps us do. It says you should bring an improvement in your events into the next sprint. So it went ahead and found their strengths and weaknesses, wrote up what they need to improve, and gave you acceptance criteria. The team can go ahead and copy and paste this right into their backlog of choice, and they can tweak and adjust it as they need. That gets us through step 6, measuring agility. All right, let's take the question again. You got Dr. Suman, you got another question here, and then we'll get into step 7.
Sorry for that, I'm asking because this is totally relevant to me, and that's why I have a multiple questions. Like
Okay, great.
another question is like in this, what it is running behind that? How is the LLM, or are you using the API call through the chat GPT? How you're building that model?
Sure. Yeah, thanks for asking. I won't go too deep here. I'm happy to take that question deeper after we finish our presentation. But at a high
Sound
level, yeah, I'll give you the high level here. We are using an API layer. It is actually calling ChatGPT It is calling ChatGPT. It is using our built agent as Kudomi Agile Coach. We built an Agile Coach called Kudomi Agile Coach. You can actually find that in the GPT marketplace. You can search and find that and install it yourself through ChatGPT, right? Or you can get it through our Kudomi AI here. Through our Kudomi AI, it's actually more private because it's an API. It is not shared with the internet. ChatGPT does not use it to train, so you get a little bit more privacy out of it. You also can get unlimited use for less money, but it is an API call. It does give you the technical call. It is actually calling the ChatGPT coach that we built. So
Do
you're
you
getting
have already,
real-time AI.
sorry, do you have already some customer who is using this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've actually been building this for 5 years. The AI is newer. We started implementing the AI late last year. So we've had the AI integrated for about a year, and we just keep constantly enhancing it. Even this week, we enhanced some features of the coach, simple things like copy and paste. So yeah, I've got a team here, and we're constantly doing it based on customer feedback, like yourself. So give us ideas, give us thoughts, and we can make it something valuable and useful. All right. All right, let me go to step 7, though. I'm happy to take more of those questions after it. All right, last step. Step 7, we measured agility. Great. We want to make sure teams are constantly improving. Awesome. Last step is, did we actually deliver value? And I really intentionally made this the 7th step because ultimately this is all that really matters, right? We did all this stuff, but did we create value? Did we actually solve the problem we meant to do? So step 7 is measuring against the OKRs, the objectives, the key results. So let's go ahead and look at how we would do that. So measuring against those OKRs, right? It's a practice we want to do to get to the outcome, the impact that we're trying to do, the success what we're looking for. Again, we're not just looking for completion rates. We're not just checking boxes. Checking boxes does not always generate value. Checking boxes is more of an output measure. We need outcome. So effective OKR measurements gets quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative, like metrics or KPIs, key performance indicators, and qualitative, feedback, observe changes. Do we actually get the behavior? Are we actually solving the problem here? Sorry, one more disruptive cat. Same disruptive cat. I have a dog, 2 cats, and a rabbit in this house, so animals tend to pop up all the time. All right, so to measure OKRs, here is one of our programs that we went ahead and built that you are welcome to have. If you're interested in this, it's free, but you'll have to ask me for it. I don't have this as a free download. It does require a little bit of knowledge to do. It's basically what's called an Agile Business Delivery Value. We built this whole program for measuring, looking at the Agile. How Agile are we? We start with that. Then we want to look at the business. Did we actually create value for our customers? Did we build the right features for the right people in the right order? Delivery, did we deliver in the right time frame? Did we meet our objectives? Did we do it in the quarter? Did we do it in the right time? Did we have to bring in too many resources? Did our costs go way out of whack? Right. What about quality? Did we actually get quality in there? So that's the delivery side. So these are 4 pillars to do. Ultimate one is value. So did we hit the target customer, the target problem we're trying to solve? So we want to bring in Agile Business Delivery Value to help us with that. And we're going to look at one more prompt to go ahead and look at that. All right, we're going to go back to our coach here. Let's bring our coach up. Let's make it full screen again so we can continue the prompt and conversation. Here's what we're going to do to generate our solution. We're actually going to build a new rubric to measure. We don't have this rubric currently available in our platform, right? It'll be added at some point, but right now you can do this on your own anytime you want. Build yourself a rubric. So, hey, Kudomi, generate an OKR, Objective Key Result Delivery Value rubric with levels of underperforming, improving, and high performing. And I want themes. I want to say, did we meet the key results? Were we agile? Did we deliver business? Did we do delivery? Did we do value? Right? So the rubric things will measure value after delivery of the OKR. And I want it to show it as a table so we have it. So you can actually build a thing to do self-measurement to say, did we actually deliver value against this OKR? So let's use the rubric approach to make that happen. There are many ways you can do this, but this is probably the quickest way to give you the highest value without adding very much process. So you just built yourself your own rubric, right? Which is pretty cool and powerful. So here's a rubric to say, did we actually do this? Key results, right? I'm not going to read the whole rubric, but you can check it out. I'll export all of this for you here in a moment here, right? Key results, are they not met or poorly defined? Do we struggle with that? Were the majority of key results met? And some gaps. Did we meet all the KRs? We were high performing. And then you can see Agile. Did we struggle with Agile? Did we do all the Agile events? Did we embrace fully high collaboration, continuous feedback? Business, did we have the business aligned? All right, we need the business aligned. Did we deliver? And did we actually generate value for the users that we're trying to target? So we built an OKR. We can now self-measure and see, did we actually measure that? That's what we're doing here. That brings us through the 7 steps. Enterprise agility, 7 proven AI-driven steps. I've done these steps before there was AI. Doing them with AI just moves us so much faster with insights we would not have thought of alone. So you got 7 proven steps to help you achieve strategic innovation, going from some problem that you recognize in the real world, some customer or user you have, and being able to work and solve that through. If you want the Gadomi Agile Coach GPT, it is free on the ChatGPT marketplace. You can explore GPTs and get that. Note if you get it through ChatGPT, if you're not a paying customer, ChatGPT only lets you do so many prompts within a time frame. If you're a paying customer, it costs you $20 a month. If you want to use the same Agile Coach, get it through Gadomi AI. It can cost you $5 a month for a person or less than $1 a month for a whole team or organization. So a lot cheaper, unlimited use, and you get the agility metrics and sprint capacity planning. You want a lot of freebies? Check out our Gadomi ecosystem. We have a lot of downloads in there. Retrospectives is our most popular download, but coaching program is a download, feature planning program. A lot of free things you can learn about that and get some free tools and techniques as you go there. Okay. With that, I'll leave this up for a minute here. I'm going to go ahead and export. Actually, I'll come back to this. I'm going to go ahead and we just built a whole conversation. If you want to see all your conversations, they are in your history. Here's the conversation we just went through. All right. Started with our very first prompt. There's a problem in the real world. I'm going to download this entire conversation. And I'll drop this file in here. The file will be a TXT file. Right? But I'm going to go ahead and get that file here and I'll drop it in chat. I'll go grab that while you guys can go ahead and check out these QR codes. You got some questions, ideas, thoughts? This is the time to ask them. So thank you very much for going through 7 proven steps. Let me get that download for you.
Yeah, so I have a question. Out of these 7 steps, I am assuming the first 2 to 3 steps are needed before the project has even started, and then the rest of the step will come along as the project is going on.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate because you do have to make sure your organization is ready to solve the problem. And that's what happens in a lot of companies, right? It's like, let's go build the product, right? We start building the product, but I have leadership that's not aligned. They have a different strategy in mind, right? They're not ready to work in this way. We haven't set up objectives, right? And we're trying to solve the problem. So I got a team here that's kind of fighting, not just to solve the real problem, they're fighting internally.
Right.
So yes, you do have to get through those first steps first, which is why I said start with the problem, get a vision statement. What's the objective and the key result? That gets alignment across your organization. What do we need to do to have organizational readiness? A lot of that falls with a term that might be familiar to some of you, OCM, Organizational Change Management, right? It kind of has that same mindset there. We do need to make that culture shift. It's a natural place for a lot of us that might be Agile coaches, right? It's a place that we play a lot, helping our organizations get ready and understanding the value of that. So this helps you get there faster and get kind of the why behind it. Yeah, great question. Think of it.
Yeah, and I'm assuming once we are let's say at step 4 and 5, we have to keep tweaking it to see how we can improve things. And then once the project is over, it could be a quarterly project or a yearly project. Then we will do the step 7.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's a whole year, you saw our OKRs were set up over 12 months. right? Use Agile and Scrum. If you're doing 1, 2 week, 3 week sprints or up to a month according to our Scrum guide, you're continually tweaking and adjusting.
Right.
Measure your agility every sprint at a minimum. Measure your OKRs. A recommendation I have, if you have a 12-month strategic plan like this one is, you should measure your OKRs probably every quarter, right? Because those might need to be refined. When we
Right.
first wrote those OKRs, we didn't know anything. We haven't built anything yet. But after we get a couple months in, we've built something. We got feedback. Our community is telling us things. We're seeing technical things, training we've done. Those OKRs might need adjusting, right? Responding to change over following a plan, or like I said, my small change I would make, seek the change over following a plan. If you're seeking the change, you will actually solve the problem. So that's one of my 2 tweaks I would love to make to the Agile Manifesto. Seek the change over following a plan. The other tweak I would make, instead of working software, I would just call it working product. In the example we're doing here, we're not actually building software, right? We're building a solution, a working product, right? We're actually doing installation. There might be some software in there, of course. Everything has software in some way, but it's not a software solution. So I'd like to see a small change, working product, and then seek the change. Those are
Like,
my 2 cents. Can I attach a file to chat? Trying to see if I can attach a file to chat. I don't seem to think I can attach a file. I'm going to just copy and paste it then.
there is a file thing. If you go to the format and emoji, next to emoji, there is a file.
4 minutes, yeah. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute because that'll let me see my whole Zoom toolbar. Thank you. All right, where do you see it, Amit? Tell me again.
In the chat box,
In the chat box. Great.
if you
Opening it up.
go just when you're about to type a message, you see this 4 icons.
Yes.
One of them is format, one of them emoji,
Oh,
third
yeah,
one
I
is
see
file.
it. File. Awesome. Oh, your computer is blocked. I can't click your computer. It's grayed out. Yeah. So maybe it's a
Let me make
setting
you
that,
a
yeah,
host. Maybe that would be
maybe. All right,
make you a host.
let me try it
File
again.
attachment is not working here.
Yeah. But in the short term, oh, I can't paste that many characters. You can only paste 1,000 characters at a time.
Worst comes to worst, if you send me the file, I could put it into shared directory and send the link to all the
Okay.
participants through the meetup.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. Anybody, I'm happy to send that file for you. Also, I will share with Sasha. I'll share with Sasha a copy of this presentation to the PDF, so you're always welcome to check this presentation anytime you want, in addition to the recording that Sasha is doing. And a third thing, I have a sheet that has all my prompts, right? You probably noticed that I didn't sit there and type the prompt. I already had those
Yeah.
prompts pre-built. I'm happy to share that prompt sheet also. So if you want those prompts, you can have those prompts and they can be your own. All right. I want to make sure that the world is better. So feel free to use those prompts, guide us on your journey. All right. Reach out to us. I'd love if you would use Kadomi AI and give us feedback and see if it actually solves your problem. Let me know. All right. With that, I'm going to turn it over back to Sasha, or any other questions or comments. Feel free to
Yeah.
entertain them.
One
Steve,
one last question.
please.
I think you said you're only charging like $5 for Kadomi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not asking a lot. Okay.
No. No. I
But
really
Like
right
want.
now, I
maintenance.
see it is free.
Yeah.
Right now, it's free. Like I went to the Codomi and then I enrolled myself with my email. It's free. But if you're using a premium service, I think then you need to pay.
Yeah,
Correct?
that's correct. The free version doesn't let you use the AI because the AI does cost us every time you make a call, right? It's a very tiny, tiny cost, but it is a cost every time you do a call. So we're just asking $5 and you get full use of the AI along with full use of a lot of other features, right? So you get the AI coach and all these other things for just $5 for one person.
And
So
that's when you go to the Kadomi AI, just
yeah,
using the QR code, right? And then I can,
yep,
okay, now once I use my phone to sign up for Kadomi AI, I can then log on through my computer to access.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Same login. Yeah, you can log in
All
on
right.
any device from anywhere except maybe where there's a firewall, like China.
All
China
right.
might not let you do it unless you use a VPN.
And if you are a paid member of the Chat GPT, still you have a free or still we need to pay for the additional
Yeah,
cost?
so good question. If you are paying for ChatGPT, go into, I'll show you one more thing then.
Yeah, please.
Let me show you how to get it through ChatGPT if you desire to do it through there. So I'm going to go ahead and let me bring up my browser again.
And while you're doing that, you said when you go through ChatGPT, you don't have access to the AI, or you still have, I mean, your own AI, right? Like, what's
Yeah, you can still have your own. So if you go to ChatGPT, I'm opening up ChatGPT right here. I have ChatGPT installed as an app, so I just brought it up here as an app. But if you do ChatGPT, I'm currently logged in and I'm a paid member. So it says I'm Sherman Gomberg Plus. I pay them $20 a month to use it. Right. If you pay $20 a month, you get unlimited prompts. You can prompt anything. Now, ChatGPT has basically a marketplace, which they just call Explore. You can get tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands GPTs. Everything from a GPT that helps you walk your dog or play chess, of course, an Agile coach. So if you type in search GPTs, you can find in GPTs. You can build your own too, if you want. If you just type Agile coach, so if you can't remember the name Kadomi, just type Agile coach. You'll see we're the second most popular coach out there in the world. Ours is also newer. It's less than a year old. But there are a lot of other coaches you can see, but there's really only two that actually have real usage, this Emily and ours, Kadomi Agile Coach. So you just click it, and you can use this for free. Even if you're not a paid member, you can use it for free. You'll just have limited number of prompts. If you start doing too many prompts, ChatGPT will give you a message saying, hey, you've reached your prompt limit, and you have to wait for some time before it lets you prompt again. And that has nothing to do with our coach, just any prompt that you do. But you can see it's the exact same coach. It's trained the same. You're actually hitting the same engine here. But here you're just going through the OpenAI interface. And you can do the same type of things. So you can go ahead and put in your same prompts and follow the same thing. So hopefully it helps you to give you another alternative. So if you're a
you still get the
ChatGPT fan and
charts
you're already
and
paying for it, yeah, give it a try.
you still get the charts and everything?
So I don't make any money this way, right?
Oh,
Yeah, this one, ChatGPT doesn't let you get money from their marketplace. I know. Yeah, can't make any money from them. Not through this way. The only way you can make money through ChatGPT is going through APIs and building your own, which is, not the reason we built our own, because we wanted to give you more power, right? There's only so much you can do when you use their interface. But when you come into our interface here within Kadomi.ai, not only do you have the Agile Coach, right? But you also have all these other things, right? The agility metrics, right? If you're a full enterprise, you can actually see all of your agilities across the entire enterprise, all your teams, all their agilities. You can go ahead and see all the events. They can all be measured, right? So you get access to a whole lot more just for that simple thing. Now, this is the enterprise version. A personal version, you'll just see it for your team. It would just be, instead of sandbox, you would actually see personal. You can do the same thing. It's just for you. Yeah.
now if you have multiple teams,
You have multiple teams. Yeah. If you have multiple teams, my recommendation is, and we're charging very little for this too, sign up for the Plus Enterprise. Just $100 a month, you can get up to 12 teams, 120 people. So, yeah, less than $1 a month per person. You can set up all your teams on here. Everybody gets a login. There's whole team management capability built in. Here's all your teams in your enterprise. You can go ahead in the team. All your members, you can add members here, up to 120 people total. All right. I showed you the agility metric size. We also have sprint capacity planning, and we do this in a way that really very few people do. We bring in capacity and velocity to go ahead and measure this. You have future sprints. You can create as many future sprints as you want to say, how much can we get done over this period of time based on our past performance of capacity and velocity? Bring in both. So you get future sprints and you get a planning window, which is your last 3 sprints and your current sprint to give you your actuals that you delivered and your new target to help the team get confidence. It's all about confidence building. That's what I do. So the team can have confidence about how much they can pull in. All right. This wasn't really part of our talk, but thank you for asking. But you get all of this included when you build it. Yeah. Does that give you some insights there? Yeah. And we had another question too. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is it connected with like a Jira, like alteration intelligence? Because we have in our Jira artificial intelligence is built, like writing a JQL query. The
Right.
AI can write a query, they can complete the user story, write the comments also into that. Uh, do you have a same kind of a purpose, or this is more kind of a which you were sharing, like sprint capacity calculation and all these things, or it's go up to the user story writing and all those kind of a things?
Yeah, so good question. So right now, our application is playing very much in the middle because we're doing capacity planning, we're measuring agility, having a coach to guide you through the entire journey. Some of the things you're asking for, yeah, Jira is a good place to lift it. We are available in the Atlassian Marketplace. You could find Kadomi in the Atlassian Marketplace. You can buy it through there, install it, and put it in. Currently, the application on the Atlassian Marketplace for Jira allows you to handle the single sign-in and all the registration. So if you want to get it through that mechanism, awesome, do that. It will automatically log you and your team members in as they click through, and they can use the product. We're not passing data back and forth at this point. That is in our roadmap to be able to create a deeper integration like you're asking about here, where we can actually have it build the sprints and see the data. So that's in our roadmap. But right now we simplified it so at least you wouldn't have to create a new account, new registration, get all of that nice single sign on and get them connected. So that's where we're at now. But yeah, thanks question. We know
That
Jira is the
does
#1 used product. So
that does lead to another question.
sure.
All right. So you said, I know you just said it's not trading information back and forth, but is it pulling data from Jira? And then let's add ADO as well because
Sure. Azure DevOps. Yeah, great.
right. So in that case, is it pulling it from in order for that in order to measure capacity, or do you have to go in and manually put that information in?
Right. Yeah, great, good. Today, you have to put that in, right? In our roadmap, though, that will be automated. We want to make this as humanly easy as possible, AI driven, right? Insights get people away from their computers, get them to talk with people. So that is in our roadmap to pull that in. The data we pass back and forth right now is your login, your team name. It's that type of stuff as opposed to the actual backlog and product. The backlog and product will come, but right now we're passing login and registration information between the two products. So that's the data we share right now. So what you're asking, Steve, you're spot on. That will certainly make the experience smoother and more valuable for people who have existing products like Azure DevOps, like Jira, right? Because I know we do a lot of things they don't do, but you don't want to have to use 2 separate products to always type in the data twice. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's friction.
exactly.
Bottleneck, more work.
Exactly. You're right. Absolutely. So
Folks,
yeah,
let's limit our questions to the topic of our meetup meeting today.
all right.
Let's stay
Thank
focused.
you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. Back to you, Sasha, then.
Okay. Thank you, Sherman, again for taking the time to come and join us tonight. Thank you, guys, for attending this meeting. I'm glad to see we have a lot of regular now. I will post the recording to my YouTube channel. It's called A to Z Agility. So please join it, and I will send the link through the meetup as well as other links if Sherman shares files with me. So please sign up for my channel. Share the link, like the channel, and I hope to see you in a month. Please stay tuned. Once we find out who is going to be the next speaker, I'll let you know. And if you feel like you want to become a speaker, you're always welcome. I'll be glad to have you as a speaker for the next event. With this said, thank you. I am stopping